Hello, friends. Welcome to New Gameplay Today. I am Alex Stadnik, and we have a treat for you today because Marcus Stewart is with us as well. Hello, sir.
Cowabunga, dude.
Righteous. Marcus.
Yeah.
Whoa, sorry, I cut you off. What? I was going to ask, what turtle are you?
Oh, I'm this turtle. Donatello here, who I'm playing as, is always been my favorite turtle. So, I had to run through the demo with him, of course.
Of course. And the demo of what, may I ask?
This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, the upcoming arcade throwback multiplayer TMNT game. Basically, hey, did you like Turtles in Time or Hyperstone Heist or those arcade games where you got together with your buddies and you beat people up as Ninja Turtles? We made a new one of those. It was first announced last year. I actually wrote a big feature about it when they announced it, about just kind of the game's making and interviewing the developer, Tribute Games, who you might know as the makers of Mercenary Kings, and this is also being published by .emu, who brought us Streets of Rage 4. So kind of a dream team in terms of retro arcade throwbacks. And yeah, so this demo is my gameplay I'm playing right now. We got a build of the first two levels. This first one here is in the Channel 6 news station. And I wrote up some impressions that are now live on the site if you want to go and check those out for a deeper dive into what I think of the game. But overall, I'm very happy with what I have played as a big TMNT fan, as someone that also grew up with these games. This is pretty much what I wanted, is a really good one of these is the best way to describe it.
Right.
It is a, as you can see, just a good old-fashioned beat 'em up,
Yeah.
but it plays so well. And it's hard to describe sometimes, right? Because beat 'em ups kind of catch a lot of flack because they can feel kind of samey, right? You're just going from left to right, punching dudes. And I'm not saying this game reinvents the wheel. It is not trying to convince you that like this is like a revolution of beat 'em ups.
Right.
This is just a very good throwback. It feels great. The combat feels smooth and responsive. You got a deeper move list than you might think. I'm not saying it's like a fighting game or anything like that, but it's more than just mashing the same button over and over again. You got stuff like you see there's some environmental stuff you can do.
Like
you can
that,
hit
yeah.
stuff. You can do some special attacks. You've got air attacks. You've got what I found maybe the most useful tool is a roll dodge. If you've noticed me rolling around and flipping, that's useful for dodging attacks as well as just getting behind foes like this annoying sword guy that's blocking me. So you can do that quite a bit, and it's very easy to just like flip around and then transition straight into either like a sliding attack there or just, a regular standing attack. But yeah, I'm playing solo. This game supports 4 players locally and online, I believe. Which is always ideal. And there's 6 characters in the game. So there's the 4 turtles, as well as Master Splinter and April O'Neil. And the impressions I have on the site is goes through all of them. I played this demo 6 times with each character.
I love it.
So I'm intimately familiar with the Channel 6 news station there. And what do you say, Alex?
I was just going to say, is playing the different characters, do you feel that much of a difference between them? Like, does April play a lot different than, Raph does? Or is it pretty samey?
They have subtle differences. Like, there are differences that matter. So when you go to the character select screen, you'll see that they all have stats based on speed, attack power, and reach. So Donatello here, he's got the longest reach naturally because he has the staff, but he's also the slowest. Whereas Mikey and April are the fastest characters, and Raphael and Splinter are the strongest. They do the most damage. And Leo is around like an all-arounder, like all of his stats are even. So he's like a good sort of like, maybe if it's your first time, he's maybe the guy you go with. But so like they feel different enough to where it's not like boring to pick any of them, but they don't feel. And what I like is that nobody feels objectively better than someone else. So like, like I mentioned before, Donatello's my favorite turtle. He always has been. And especially in the video games, I remember always having to fight for him, like calling dibs for other players. I just did not want to use anyone else because I value the reach that his staff gives, right? And because of that, I always avoided kind of shorter range characters like Raphael and Michelangelo. But playing as them in the demo, they're both a lot of fun. Like, all the characters are super fun to use, to where I was like, you know what? I'll still get a little upset if you call dibs on Donatello before me, but I will not throw the tantrum that I would have as a kid. Because, like, I had a great time going around beating people up as Raphael. Like, they all have a lot of great combos, and at least with like Raphael and Mikey in particular, because they're have shorter range and they're a little faster, they
Hmm.
can really unleash some like really fun just chains of attack, and especially air juggling is a big thing in this game because every character has a rising attack that can launch characters,
Hmm.
and so you can like send someone in the air and then you and your buddies can just juggle them around like long after they're dead. But you can just keep like it's like they're done, but you can just keep wailing on them until they hit the ground.
Right. That's awesome. So we saw the first boss battle here. My experience with brawlers is usually in the arcade or at like Up Down, right, where they have like the old X-Men machine and whatnot. And
Yeah.
I'm curious about like, obviously Brawler's interesting because like, they were originally made to like suck quarters out, right? But like, is this game difficult? Is there sliders to it? That kind of stuff? Like,
no sliders, and I didn't find it particularly difficult. Keep in mind, this is the first 2 levels too, so it's
Right.
not going to be hard.
Mhm.
But no, I had a fine time with it. It was like enough of a challenge where, like, I didn't die often. Usually, I only died a couple times to like the bosses, but you get right back into it. So I don't know how it'll change throughout the adventure. I would imagine it would get harder just because that's a hallmark of these games, like you said.
yeah.
But I doubted it would be like the arcade level, like we're trying to take your money kind of difficulty.
Right.
So, and you can see here I switched to Raphael. You cannot switch between levels. These are just 2 different runs that I edited together because I wanted to show off a different turtle.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm something of a scientist myself.
He is a premier pro. Look at that. Yeah.
And I want to kind of show off what I was just talking about. Some of the fun things you can do with like Raphael there. So is Raphael? I forgot you said who your favorite turtle was once on a podcast. Was it Raph?
Oh no, I think it was Mikey. I feel like Mikey is like the Gryffindor answer, right? Where it's like,
Really?
Who are you? Well, I don't know. Maybe Mikey's just fun, He's just if I'm thinking of the right turtle. But
Yeah,
I think
party
Mikey,
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raphael's cool but rude.
Yeah. See, that's not my game. I think Mikey's my favorite, with Leo maybe being second.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I always thought Leo was the Gryffindor choice. He's the leader. He's the
True.
straight lace. He keeps everyone. He's the glue of the team, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, like Raphael here, just really well. I had a great time like doing a spinny sides attack. Mikey has a really cool rising attack where he pretty much just launches his whole body and spins, and it's almost like an M. Bison sort of like Psycho Crusher if it was vertical.
Mhm.
And I found that to be especially like just great for chaining. And you can see I got a 27 hit combo there.
Wow. Yeah.
You
You
have to, like-
popped out, and then you got
And then
ran over by a car.
It was fleeting, it turns out.
Yeah.
But
Just like most things in life. I saw you hit a point where a super attack came up.
Yeah.
Is there a specific way you do that, or is it just landing enough hits?
so there's that blue meter you see above your health there.
Mhm.
You fill that up through fighting, and then if you hit I was playing with an Xbox controller, so if you hit Y, you'll do a special attack, and you have a ground one, and you have several, because I saw like 2 different ground ones. I think I saw like a running one, I saw a standing one, and then there's also an aerial one if you jump. And you can double jump in this game as well. So you got options. The aerial one kind of sends you plummeting down like a meteor, and you can just really clear out some mobs that way. But then there's also the power-up pizza, which is a classic power-up, where you'll get that temporary kind of like you're going to spin around like a tornado for a few seconds and just take out whoever you can.
Yeah.
So you can see I did my regular special there.
Yeah.
Good use there. It's got
That's
those
dope.
motorcycle guys.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, you see we got the health pizza there. There's another pizza that gives you an infinite special meter for a period, so you can just spam your finisher for a little while.
Nice.
And then the dreaded sushi set, which, it helps you out, but, canonically the turtles don't like fish.
What are you gonna do?
They say it when you talk to them, and
Oh,
you get
really?
to hear those, because one of the recent announcements for this game is that they got the original voice cast from the 1987 show, at least the turtles.
Oh,
are all
really?
back in this game, so you hear them in the sound bites saying stuff, like, oh, I love being a turtle and that kind of stuff,
As turtles do, Is that your favorite iteration of the Turtles, right? Because I grew up on I think it was closer to like the Nickelodeon era of Turtles.
I think it's I think objectively, my favorite, if we're going pure quality, is that 2003 show that was on Fox for a while.
Okay.
I think that show was actually really good. I grew up with this show. Like, this was my first exposure to the Turtles next to the old movies. Being, I'm 34, so I am of that age. But yeah, I'd say if I were to pick one, it'd be that 2003 show. But I think all of them are good. I've seen some of the Nickelodeon, the 3D kind of animated one.
Right.
And I've always liked what I saw of that. I never watched it, but I watched enough of it to be like, this is a good show.
This is cool. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, we're on the last boss battle here. Is there anything you want to clean up before we say goodbye here? Anything else that people should know?
So, they recently announced that this game's coming out in the summer. Still doesn't have a release date, which is what everyone's begging for. So, they narrowed it down a bit. It is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Like I mentioned before, it's got that 4-player co-op, and it's a lot of fun. This demo made me even more excited to get my hands on the full product.
Cool. Well, be sure to head over to GameInformer.com for Marcus's preview. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.